Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the faction event for the new Crypt Keeper faction. This is the first faction that ended up coming in during version 4.0, and we have a weekend-long event with that. Before that though, as you guys have probably seen from the lack of streams as of lately, I have been evacuated due to the Hurricane Florence that has been coming through, so I ended up moving inland a bit and kind of just hopping hotels at the moment, and connection definitely is not the best, so I have not been able to stream, and recording and stuff has also been hindered quite a bit. But anyways, today I do have time to go over the event for this, so let's get into that. This is the first one of its kind, basically. We've had the one earlier where it was just the Tuesday one where we ended up doing that previous day-long stream. But we also have this one now where we basically get 3 delves per day on top of the other 3 that we're already getting from the standard. So basically 6 delves per day, 3 specifically for the event itself. And it's for the new faction. It has this really weird, interesting layout. Actually isn't too bad. It has the highest reward, but is also the most difficult out of any of the factions so far, just because it has some really annoying mechanics, which I'll be going over in a moment. As far as the rewards as well, it goes up to stage 16 now, whereas before they only went up to stage 8, requiring slightly more points, but now overall it requires way more points, but you get way more rewards, which is very nice and probably more incentive to actually go further with it. As far as the actual tier things, you do still get the weapon at tier 4. This costs 410 gems if you do want to get it. Weapon actually isn't that bad. We'll be going over that in a moment as well, and you end up getting a bunch of legendary ingots, a bunch of shards that you can go get more treasure off of, as well as the troops for any of the factions, and just overall definitely pretty much just best stopping value at tier 4. I personally went up to tier 6 just so we could get a little bit more of the shards and everything, and just to make sure that that does give all rewards. I am not fully certain at this current moment in time how many delves you actually need to get all the rewards, but I assume tier 6 will be way more than enough. And as far as leaderboard, you can still spam the 20 if you don't know how to do this. Basically, if you didn't do that for the previous faction, if you are having trouble doing these, or if you just want to make leaderboard in general, all you have to do is do every single one of the rooms on the very first level 21, and then run away before you complete out the boss room, and you just keep repeating that. And that's basically how all these people are sitting at level 20 or other low values while still having a very high score, or you could do it normally like Hillary and this other person is, and as well as myself and probably several others, to try to get more faction renown. You will get overall less points for the leaderboard, but of course the faction renown is probably more worth it overall than making a very high leaderboard, unless you really want to get a orb or anything like that. But anyways, let me go over the weapon as well as the faction troops themselves. Weapon is pretty decent. The one for the previous one was pretty decent. This one's also pretty decent. The one for the next faction next Tuesday for the Hall of Guardians isn't really that good, but these two definitely are. So regardless, you'd probably still want to get them due to the need of getting them due to all the kingdom upgrades lately. But anyways, as far as the bonus that it ends up getting, it is a tome, so it's the only weapon type in the entire game that does gain 3 additional magic, and this is relevant for this tome as it actually does use magic pretty well. It hits 2 things with true damage, so you'll be able to utilize that for basically 6 additional true damage. It also gets to gain additional mana every single time it casts, gets to drain some mana from the enemy. It has a summon on the book itself, but it also has an additional summon on top of that summon, and if you wanted to, you can get a Create a Bone Storm off of it, though I didn't opt for this. I might eventually, just so we get it for the kingdom upgrades and such, but at the moment there really isn't much of a need to. I feel like this is kind of going to be more of a downside than a positive. Of course, many weapons do have various perks that can kind of be negative on them, but still overall pretty nice true damage weapon. Steals a bunch of life from the 2 weakest enemies, and then summons a random undead at 100% chance and a 10% chance of Closet if you also have that thing on. Of course, the Closet isn't really that good, but if I'm not mistaken, the random undead summon does trigger before all of these perks on the or all the affixes on the weapon, so you would still get the undead summon first, which more often than not would be the better summon than a useless Closet. But as far as the troops, of course, we got 4 new troops that ended up coming in through the, not all seeing eye, where to go, the Crypt Keepers. Not really that good. The most noteworthy one, oddly enough, is the Graveseer, which is the epic. I believe you can get it for spending like 90 gems or something. I forget what tier ends up giving you a guaranteed copy of this if you just want to kind of get him. But yeah, he's actually the best thing from his faction. He's basically another version of Mercy, just for a different color. He transforms all green gems to purple and then enchants the strongest ally. And strongest, of course, is based on whatever troop has the highest HP plus armor combo. So whatever troop is like that will end up getting the enchant for that. So it still ends up generating a lot of mana, on top of an enchant. Still not as good as a Mercy overall, but there are some teams that you'd be able to use with that really need a heavy amount of purple, where this, instead of a giant spider, some kind of other troop may be better. So do keep that in mind. He's basically the most relevant thing. Other than that, we have Lady Morana, which is the new legend from this faction. It's what's going to make this faction very, very, very annoying to actually complete with a normal team, mainly because she has an instant kill chance. Not only does she have an instant kill chance, but the way that she implements her damage makes it so even barrier will not be able to protect against it, basically meaning since there's no player-owned resistance to instant kill at this current moment in time, there is no way to protect yourself against this hit. It will do a bunch of damage to you, and then a 10% chance to slay that troop, as well as an extra 2% per purple on the board. So let's say there's 10 purples, that is a 30% chance that it will kill you, and there is no way to undo that. Even if you have barrier, basically what it will do is it will hit its damage first, and then the instant kill will on the barrier, and then the instant kill will hit your troop and kill it. So there is no way to kind of dodge this other than mana draining it, or silencing it, or really just disabling it in any way, shape, or form, killing it out. Just make sure that it does not get it on you, because every single time that is a very high risk. And if you're doing this faction, there is a 100% chance you will fight this if you want to go and complete out the final room. So definitely the hardest one as of yet as far as completing out without a single death. But it also has 65% score reduction. As far as actually using this troop, it's not really going to be that good. Way too high of a mana cost. You're not going to be using it in any kind of PvP team or anything like that. But still, it's going to make the faction very annoying nonetheless. Nightshade, pretty useless. All it does is summon a Dark Storm and then either diseases, freezes, or stuns all enemies. This is way too random to ever be consistent. Way too high of a mana cost. No extra turn, no nothing, no board control. Never use it. You might use it with the faction team just because this other guy kind of needs it. But for the most part, it is useless. So just ignore it. Other than that, we have ourselves the Spectral Knights. The most noteworthy thing about this is he does pure true damage and does double if the enemy has a status effect. Keep in mind, this is any status effect, even positive or negative. So even if they end up having a positive status effect, like let's say enchant, you would still be able to get twice the amount of damage on it off of that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a negative, so you don't have to have this thing doing its either its death mark off its skull or anything like this, or any of its status effects. You do not actually need that. You can just do it off their enchant or some kind of other positive effects that they might currently have. But yeah, that's basically everything with the faction. It basically goes as Graveseer, and that's it. The actual pure faction team is really, really, really clunky. You just kind of have to hope that you get instant kills and everything like that. But anyways, let's go and actually go do a faction real quick. Since we won't really be able to do too many, might as well get one done now. So the basic order of how to do this faction is you do the very first two rooms that you see here. This is how you'll go literally every single time. You do the very first room, you then do the tier 4 that will be sitting right here. Unfortunately, we had bullets. Luckily, we got them down without any casualties nor movements. And then you have a couple different ways that you can go. Generally, you're going to go for this tier 5, though of course if you want to rush through it, you can go and take out the actual boss thing if you're finding that they're starting to become too difficult. But other than that, basic order is this first battle, this tier 4, then this tier 5, assuming it's 1.3 or higher. It is possible that it becomes a 1.2, in which case double check all your multipliers. Basically do it in multiplier order. So right here, after this one, we'd want to go check for what the next one is. Keep in mind on these little tier 3 things, there is a 1.3 that can sometimes appear, so definitely do check it. So we then go for the 1.2, so we then go for this one. You would then want to save this room right here for last. This is actually a new room that ended up getting introduced with this faction right here, and it is a treasure room. Basically the main thing with this, or the main gimmick with it, other than the fact that it has slightly different troops than what we've seen for some of the other battles, is that it also has a different quality. So it could be a tier 2, a tier 3, a tier 4. I haven't seen anything higher or lower than that, but it also gives a absurd amount of gold. As you can see right here, it's 1,000, and while that's not like excessively high amount, it does get affected by all your multipliers as well, so do keep that in mind. So pretty competent amount of gold, which no other faction currently has, which is kind of cool. So you could possibly save this room absolutely last if you didn't really care about the points as much and you just wanted to go stack up a bunch of multiplier for the specific room. But generally I just do all the ones of similar rarity or similar multiplier up. So here I'll go do all the 1.2s, and then all the 1.15s and lower I'll do that after this one. So basically what we're going to go be doing is doing this tier 5 and then going around to the others. Anyways, let's get into battle. I'm using this team. You've probably seen me use it before. I believe this is the exact thing we're allowed to use in the Guardians one as well. But it is Dragon's Eye, which if you haven't been using it yet, definitely do. Dragon's Eye Divinia, you can basically solo this entire dungeon, even if you don't have those two mythics. Dragon Eye Divinia is very, very, very strong. We're using Titan right now. Titan, of course, best hero class in game, at least until next hero class, and even then it's still going to be pretty high up there. But it has stun whenever they get hit, a little bit extra attack, a little bit of extra magic for your yellows, but the main things that makes it really relevant are these next 4. It gets Dust Blast Storm, which is relevant for this next part. It gains barrier every single time it takes brown. This basically allows your hero to tank indefinitely. All you have to do is just keep taking browns, and you'll essentially never die except to that boss, which will hit through your barrier. It then has this explode every single time you take a extra turn on a yellow, or an extra turn on anything, but explodes a random yellow. And this will end up giving you not just a bunch of board clear, but will also give you a bunch more mana accumulation. Even with the nerf to explosions that made it go down to 50%, it's still an absurdly high amount of free mana just for taking what is already really good value off of an extra turn. And other than that, it has a lot of really good immunities. Immune to stun, immune to poison, immune to disease, immune to death mark, and immune to devour. The immune to devour and death mark being the two most noteworthy ones, as there is both of those mechanics, even the death mark in the final battle here. So all those really good. On top of that, it counts as a giant, so you get to start with half mana, which is pretty important for pretty much any hero class that has it. And other than that, as I mentioned, you could just do this with Divinia. The whole reason for the Eye, if you don't currently have Eye, you get this out of 250 wins on the Dragon Guard hero class. You get the Dragon Guard hero class from completing out Dragon's Claw Kingdom. At the end of that, you'll have a little extra bonus quest line, then you complete out that, and boom, you get this weapon, or you get the hero class. And then after 250 wins, while you have that hero class set, boom, you'll get this weapon. And it is insanely overpowered right now and broken in Delves, mainly because the way that it works is it transforms a enemy into a baby dragon at random. But this baby dragon has no stats. For whatever reason, the delve effect does not really come into play. So the baby dragon has like 20 durability, and you can easily kill it with, well, obviously anything, because it only has about 20 durability when you have these kind of stats. So it's not really going to be doing much, and not much of a threat. Well, it's going to be doing a lot. The enemy won't be doing much. But yeah, very excessively effective weapon. Basically, you just use it with a bunch of protection and mana generators like Divinia and such, and you're pretty much good to go. Of course, I'm going with the Arachnine Weaver Megavore combo. These are the two most recent mythics, and also, oddly enough, like the best combo, as well as just really, really good synergy for delves. So go figure. But yeah, that's basically what we're going with. Just be doing this. You've probably seen me use it quite a bit the other day. I believe we were using a different second slot. I think we were using Famine or something else. But that's of course because we can't use them now due to the color restrictions. I forget if I went over it, but it is a red-purple color restriction, and all of the troops that we'll be able to get from this faction are for Sword's Edge. So it is now possible, if you were to get literally every new troop that just came out to Mythic, it would be possible to now get Sword's Edge to level 10, which would give you 1 additional armor to all of your troops if you want it. But anyways, as you can see, this baby dragon right there, 26 durability total, really easy, just one shot. Easy cleanup for Arachnine Weaver, and we basically just keep doing this loop. And if you don't have Arachnine Weaver to clean it up, just get like a goblin. Literally just a goblin would be able to go and do that exact same thing. It doesn't have to be Weaver. But we'll go to that, get a little bit more HP. I don't want him killing us, not like he's even remotely close, but you never know. They can start hitting pretty high, and if we really had to, we can start taking browns. Browns are basically our easiest way to kind of make sure we don't end up dying at all. But we'll take the skull there, we'll throw this instant kill as well. We also get armor tear off that if we ever needed it, but for the most part, we're mainly doing that for its very high concentrated true damage, and we're mainly focusing on killing everything by transforming them into dragons. So, right now, of course, we have this 1.2 treasure room, though because I want to get as much of a multiplier as possible for this delve, since you end up getting these points every single time, I am going to want to do this in multiplier order. So I'm going to go for this 1.2, and then go for the 1.2 treasure room. But if you want the gold more than you want the slightly higher points for this event, you can simply just go do literally every other room before the treasure room, then go do the treasure room, then go do the boss room. Really just depends which way you want to go about it. But we'll throw the eye down, get the baby dragon right there, perfect place for the Arachnine Weaver just to clean up and kill that out if it would want to cast. So we'll get that down, throw like a concentrated true damage maybe, just to get another one down. And let me throw this first because there's a possibility we'll just randomly extra turn, which we did, and dead. We just kill it with the Megavore, and haven't gotten a Megavore instant kill yet, but he also has 8% instant kill. One really nice thing about this double combo is that you have 8% instant kill on that. Well, a couple things. These two are both impervious. Other than that, we have the summon on this, 75% chance every single time we get a kill that we end up putting a web spinner up front. Web spinner, not really the greatest, but hey, it's something to tank with. It's a legend. It has 3 times skull damage if they're poisoned. Though do keep in mind, things here can't be poisoned. There's a lot of undead. Not only that, but the final battle, the first and final battle, have undying on basically everything, if not everything, because they are undead. So you do keep that in mind. You will not be able to poison them in some of those later battles, but we still have this instant kill too, 8% just randomly kill, and that does kill literally anything as long as they don't have barrier. Barrier will protect against this, so do be wary of that. Anyways, let's keep going. We're taking on the treasure room now, and as I mentioned, ridiculously high amount of gold. We have 1,000 gold here off a 2.8 times multiplier. So yeah, that is a lot of gold to accumulate, and this is currently the only faction with a treasure room. Not quite sure what else they're going to be doing with treasure rooms in the future, or unique rooms like that, but yeah, this is the first new unique room that they've really added. And you may have noticed that mine was, I believe, tier 3 right now. You may notice that yours is different than that. From what I've seen, it can be tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4. I've seen like 4 mimics, I've seen a Christinex there on tier 4, but every single time it has had a higher gold value. So always really good to accumulate a lot of gold on. But we'll go throw that down, get the eye, perfect location. Didn't really get the mana we needed, but we can just go and just take that right over there. Go throw the Weaver down on that, and should be good. Just go take that because you never know where you're going to get a free kill out of it. Always good to go for every extra turn if you're bothering to use Megavore. Not really that needed, but it helps. So right here, we could go kill that, I think I will, just because I don't want him hitting us. Not like that's really going to do much, but oh well. We'll go throw an eye down. I was hoping that would hit on first. We actually give him more durability, though. He's already so low that I guess it doesn't really matter which way he is. But we can just go through a Weaver now and then Weaver into a single hit, or even a Skull at this point. We'll kill it. Okay, no Skull, but we can just go for the concentrated damage and kill it out with a very high true damage right there. So now we just kind of have these scraps of rooms. Again, just double check what their actual point thingy things are. 1.5, 1.5. Since this one does technically have higher treasure, what you can go do is go do this tier 2 first, and then we'll get slightly more gold on the other one. That's going to make like such a small difference, but if you really wanted to optimize it that way, you can. It really just depends if you just want to go check all the values and everything. But we'll go do this, go get a Divinia down. But basically, as long as you do it in multiplier order, that's the main thing that matters. You do the first room, you do the tier 4, you go to the tier 5, and then the rest you can kind of just do based on multiplier, and that'll be that. Do be wary though, there is both the tier 1 and the tier 5. Those can sometimes be annoying in combination. Tier 5 can have some very strong combinations on it sometimes, and the tier 1 has things like those Dust Devils, which can be good or bad. If you see a Bullet team, it can actually be good because it could reorganize you back into correct order if the Bullet team kind of made you go out of order. But it can also be bad in that you accidentally kill the Dust Devils, and they leave you in a really weird order that basically makes you lose the delve. So definitely have to be careful with it. I don't know if you'd really skip it. In this delve, you actually can skip it if you want. It is a very low multiplier, very low chest upgrade, and if you feel like it's going to mess you up, it's not blocking any path. Unlike the all-seeing eye faction, there is no path blockage by the tier 1, so you can just completely ignore it if it's something that you think will be able to destroy you. Like for example, right now we have a Devourer. We have those little 3 little durable thingies, and those can be dangerous if you don't have a lot of immune to stun. Luckily with this team we do. We have 3 things. The hero set is Titan maxed out, gets immune to stun on the final perk. We have the Arachnine Weaver and the Megavore, both with Impervious. And other than that, the only thing that's not safe is the Divinia. And this team can win without the Divinia. Ideally not, because we'd want it to speed it up and for mana generation and for HP and so many other reasons. But if we really had to, if it did go down, it's not really that risky since there's 3 things that he can target that would all be 100% immune. Not to mention, even if he does aim at a Divinia, there's a good chance that it won't actually do anything since it's only a percent chance. I think he only normally hits about like a 15 to 20 or somewhere around there. I forget the percent of those things or what it boosts by. I think it's 10% base, and then it gets some kind of extra boost on that, but it's normally not intimidating. I haven't seen it actually devour a single time, mainly because I keep using teams like this, so kind of hard for it to get a Devour off, but we'll go get that down. We'll get another hit. But yeah, if you ever feel like the tier 1, because oddly enough, there are some really annoying tier 1s. There's Enrage, there's the Gerbil thing with Mass Devourer, there's the Dust Devil thing, which could disorient your team and leave it like that for the rest of the delve. But this time around, we are going to go for it. Watch, this will be the time that Divinia actually dies. She can occasionally barrier herself as well. We don't have an alternative barrier. A barrier would protect you against this mechanic too if you did want to bring it for specifically him. But I don't really think you need to overkill it that much. Queen Aurora could be a nice thing for that. Trying to think of a couple other barriers. Dawnbringer, of course, but you'd most likely want to use Eye. But I want to say Dragonian Monk, but that doesn't work for this specific faction. But whatever barrier you have, might want to bring it out. But do keep in mind for the final battle, that will not help you at all, because that instant kill will hit through it. But we'll go take this yellow down, go get a nice red here. I think we're going to throw another Eye. One thing annoying about Eye, since it is random, you can't actually target where it goes, and yep, that's what I was just about to say. Thank you, game, for proving my point. It sometimes hits the exact same enemy, and that's not good. That's definitely not good. So we'll just go through that, kill that out, just in case he feels like devouring us for whatever reason. But yeah, Dragon Eye can hit another dragon that you literally just transform, so if you can get very unlucky, like if it was to do this twice in a row. Nope, good, okay, we're good. Didn't get that unlucky. I've seen it do it like 5 times in a row, the exact same enemy. It's very, very annoying sometimes, but luckily, as you get less targets, it can mess up less often. And let's kill that out. And now the final room. Final room is easy and hard. As I mentioned before, the faction team itself is really bad. The only really annoying part about this is Lady Mirana. Instant kill will kill you, and there's no way to disable that unless you go silence it or do any kind of disable to it, or just rush it down like crazy quick. And that's basically the strategy we're going to be going for, is rush it down before it gets to do a single thing. Another thing that's slightly annoying about it too is it does have 65% score reduction. One way to work around that though is we're actually using Titan right now, so as soon as it hits us with a skull, we are going to stun it even if it hits on our barrier. So we'll be able to get rid of that as soon as it hits us with like that skull right there or whatever it does. But we can also try getting exactly that to happen, where the Dragon's Eye ends up hitting the first slot, and then we're basically good to go. Once that thing goes down, it's just a cakewalk for the rest of this battle. And yeah, already won. That was super, super quick. Let's see, we'll take the instant kill there, why not? Oh, we can't do the explosion now. Here, have an eye, and that'll be that. Maybe we'll get an extra turn off it. No, but not like that little baby dragon's going to be able to do much to us. So we'll just go kill that out, and there we go. And that's basically how the faction goes, and how I'll be doing absolutely every single one of them. Let's just see what we get from this tier 8 chest. Still haven't gotten a tier 10 yet. We got, I think, like 1 tier 9. It is possible to get tier 10. I don't think it's possible to get anything higher than tier 10, even if you do end up getting the percents to do so. I think 10 is the cap, even if you were to be able to reach higher. But there we go. We end up getting our little bit extra Chaos Shards, a bunch of legendary ingots, you know, the normal rewards basically that a delve would give. And of course, all the leaderboard stuff, all the rewards, definitely a lot more rewards than the first event. And since it's weekend long, it's not like on that Tuesday where you kind of have to do it all on that Tuesday. You now have all weekend to be able to do it. So you have today, tomorrow, and of course Sunday. So still plenty of time. And definitely worth possibly making it onto leaderboard, because you'd be able to get the faction up and probably get some orbs in the process. Speaking of that, we still have the orbs from the previous time as well. Let me just go take my tribute. There's a gem sale, by the way, as well, blinking right over there. But let's go and claim our little extra for getting a little bit more renown. And this was from last Tuesday. I made sure not to open it for this exact moment right now. So we end up, I forget what position. I hate that it doesn't tell you the exact position you made. It does for PvP ranking. For whatever reason, it doesn't for leaderboards. But we ended up making, what is that, top 20? I think that is. Yeah, top 20. And somewhere's in there. But we end up getting 150 gems, 2 random orbs, and hopefully not green. I did get green on the first orb from the thing earlier. And oh, no, not the green. But at least we got a purple there. Still overall pretty bad orbs, but at least we got 150 gems back. So even though we are spending quite a bit of gems, I think it was what, 1,310? 1,110? Forget how much. I know the weapon's 410. Forget how much all the way to tier 6 is, but I believe it's 1,110. But as you can see, we got 150 of those gems back, so it does pay for itself some. And of course, you get all the other rewards and everything. Obviously, you wouldn't really want to spend that much unless you had like thousands upon thousands of gems, though still getting the weapon is decently advised. And other than that, yeah, it is now easily possible to go and get your renown to 4,000 if you want. This might be possible by the end of this weekend. I assume some people will be getting to that point, and if you do so, you'll get 1 whole extra HP, and of course all the other rewards that keep accumulating. And it is a good idea to be getting renown up. I know some people are kind of just camping those lower ones, but eventually higher renown is going to give some pretty decent rewards other than just extra stats and ingots and gold and stuff like that. There is going to be, I believe, an exclusive pet to the renown, as well as possibly several other things in the future. So definitely be working on getting your renowns up and everything like that. Of course, the 4 things that it gets based on is the best delve you have defeated in each one, the best one with no casualties, the best one using the faction team, which is so ridiculously hard for most factions, especially this one, and getting the treasure hoard up. I'm starting to actually do that now, since I don't believe another faction's coming in for about another month or so. Basically, factions like this will be coming in about every 4 to 6 weeks or so, give or take. And yeah, we have a while until the next one comes in, because, well, it just came out today, so we have at least 4 weeks before the next one. Not fully certain exactly that dates, but good time to go maybe start getting the treasures up to 100 on each, since now you kind of have a little bit of leeway before you need to go do the final faction. But anyways, guys, oh yeah, one last thing. Shards, portal shards. There are so many different things that you can use this on. I don't know what most people are doing as their strategy. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of different strategies for these based on where you are in the game. Personally, the way I've been going with them is getting 1 of every single troop from each faction. And right now, I'm kind of getting All-Seeing Eye to max. Main reason for this is it's a magic kingdom. This one is associated with, oh, what's the faction called? I mean, the kingdom called. It's called, it actually says it right there, Darkstone. But yeah, this one's associated with Darkstone and ends up giving +1 magic. The one in the top right, the Hall of Guardians, that one's associated with White Helm, and you can get very high tribute and extra armor off of that. And the other one's Sword's Edge, and you're just going to be able to get an extra armor off of that one. So basically, Hall of Guardians, as far as where you put shards, Hall of Guardians and All-Seeing Eye would be the highest two. I don't know when we're going to be getting the hero class for this faction, or for, you know, for Darkstone, but when we do, we will be at the point where we will be able to instantly max it. So that's one of the main reasons I'm going for this first, and then I'm probably going to go into White Helm, then into skip Crypt Keepers, and then go into whatever the fourth faction is as far as spending those things. And one last other thing, you may have noticed I already have one delve down. Thing that I end up using this for is if you're only going to be rushing towards the end, instead of wasting one of your battles for the events, you can go waste one of your daily delves instead, and basically just rush the end of the delve with the faction team. So this doesn't make it so you use up one of your precious sigil thingies for the event, because those things could have a random Valraven in it, and if you end up taking the straight path, you're going to have a less chance of finding one. So definitely, if you're just going to be going and trying to get the actual pure faction team down, be using the 3 free ones that you have per day to do that, as you don't actually want to waste one of your sigils just to go straight down the line. So do keep that in mind. It's a decent strategy that you might want to bring out for them. But anyways, guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them below. Again, I will probably not be around for a while. I don't know if I'll even be back on Monday for the Monday video, as I don't know where things will be or how bad flooding will be, or if there will even be a house there or anything like that. But we'll find out in the next several days. But anyways, I'll try to keep in touch with all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. Best of luck with the event, everyone. Goodbye.